Today we're going to see how the pen tool in Illustrator works. All right, so go ahead, open some new document. The part now will be a kind of demonstration where I'm going to explain different functions, different utilities of the pen tool, and then I have prepared an exercise for you as well. Right, so let's start with the pen tool. First of all, before we start drawing things around, we will need to set the fill and the stroke. All right, in my case, I don't want any fill, so I'm going to choose none. Okay, and stroke, let's say I'm going to put it on black. I put it on 4. Okay, you can put this up or down. I put it on 4 just so I can see what I'm doing basically. So the pen tool is this one. All right, the shortcut is P, and if you drag on it, you'll see pen tool. It's shaped like a nib of a fountain pen essentially. So we go ahead and click on that. You'll notice that if I click around, just click, okay, I'm not dragging. I'm just making straight lines. All right. So let's say I'm done with this. I can just go ahead and click V, which will change to this one. All right, and like that, I'm done. And you'll notice that I have a path. So let's say I want to create a closed shape. Okay, I'm going back on the pen tool, and let's say I want to make some random shape. Okay, to just close it off as a shape, I just need to click back on the point which I started with originally. Okay, and like that, it's a closed shape. In fact, for example, if I go and click on it, you'll notice that if I change the fill color, it's basically a whole shape. All right. Let's do something else. All right. With the pen tool again, I'm going to remove the fill because I don't really want that. And I'm going to click on the pen tool. Well, as you know, there's also, like, sometimes we actually need to make curves using the pen tool. And the curves we make by dragging. When we drag, you notice, I still didn't release my mouse at the moment. When we drag, you notice that we're going to get these 2 lines with a dot at the end, and these are called handles. With these handles, we adjust our angle of our curve. All right, so let's say I did something like this. You'll notice that the next line now is a curve. So if I just click, I'm going to get something like this. But if instead of clicking, I click and drag, I'm going to get more handles. Okay, and you'll notice that the next line will be something like this. For example, once again, I'm going to click and drag, and you're going to keep getting curves. But what if this is not the curve I want? All right. Well, you can obviously edit it further. So for example, if I go on the direct selection tool, which is the white cursor, you'll notice that when I select a specific anchor point, by grabbing the handle, I can change the direction of our curve. All right, notice that I can do that from here. There's always 2 handles. You can change the direction, can make it, if you drag it in, it will be shallower. All right, you notice that it's shallower. Like this, it has more depth. Okay, and also if I change the angle of my handle, the direction of the curve will change as well. Notice how the curve is always going next to my handle. All right, even here. Direction of the curve is always that. Okay, so remember, we can give it depth, we can make it shallower, and also we can change the angle. All right, so for now, it seems pretty random. Okay, if you try it out, you'll notice that, oh, okay, you're getting a grip on what the pen tool is doing, but you still want more control, right? So let's make some different shapes. Okay, what if for now you'll notice that, okay, I made a curve, and the next one is going to be a curve as well. Okay, so what if that's not what I want? Okay, in that case, when I click, all right, you'll notice that I clicked and I got these two handlebars. So I can hold Alt and pull, and you notice suddenly the handlebars are not moving together, right? And I can put that handle in the anchor point. And like that, I removed the handle for that, and the next line will be a straight line. Okay, let's try something else. I don't know, for example, we can still close it like this. Okay, you notice that I have a mixture of curved lines and straight lines at this point. So let's do something else. For example, let's say I want curves like this ending in a point, okay, like this, like a bunch of tunnels. All right, in that case, we will start with the first one. I'm not just going to click, so I'll have control on my first curve as well. All right, so I'm going to do this. Onto my next one, I'm going to click, I'm going to drag, but I press the Alt button now, and I'm going to put this at the top, right? Just like that. Again, and I'm putting it there. Again, I'm going to click, drag, press the Alt button, and put this on top. Click, drag, now I'll press the Alt button and put this on top. And like this, I'm getting combined anchor point, all right, where I have a lot of control on where my curve is going, essentially. But these are this is just curves at this point. So what if I want a combination? Okay, how do I really control that? Let's say we want to start with a straight line, right? I'm going to click and make a straight line. But this straight line is going to touch a curve. So when I click, I'm going to drag, okay, but not like this, because otherwise you notice that it will make a curve. Okay, so let's do undo. So I click, and immediately I'm going to press the Alt button, and this gives me a direction to where I need to put the handle. Okay, in my case I put it there, and I'm getting my curve. So for example, I can click here, drag, hold Alt, and I'm going to put this handlebar inside my anchor point. Like that, I only have one anchor point. All right, so that means that my next line will be straight. Okay, once again, I'm going to click, hold Alt, and then I'm going to drag to put my handle up there. And then I'm going to click. Okay, I set how I want my curve, press the Alt, and put it inside the anchor point. When you put it inside the anchor point, you're essentially deleting that handle. Okay, let's do one last one. I'm going to click, hold Alt, I'm sorry, click, hold Alt, put my handle up there, and then I have my curve. So I'm going to click, drag, press Alt, and put it inside the anchor point. And that's how we get a combination of lines and curves. So let's say you did this, but you're not quite happy with the form. All right. So in that case, we can also add anchor points and remove anchor points, okay? And we can also change the type of anchor points. Let's start by adding and removing, all right? So let's say we have this shape at the moment. You can see where the anchor points are, okay? We have one here, one here, one here, one here, and one here, right? Let's say we want more anchor points here, so we added the shape. In that case, I'm going on the pen tool. If I hold it down, I get this menu, okay? And we're going to press on add anchor point. There will be a plus next to it, right? So it's not like you won't realize that you're adding anchor points. Now, if I click, I added another anchor point, for example, here, here, and here, let's say. When I go on the direct selection tool, you'll notice that now I have more control to edit the shape further, because I made something which, like I made these anchor points, which would allow for further instructions to how we're going to edit our path, right? And I made this. Let's say I changed my mind, all right? And I actually want to remove this anchor point. In that case, I'm going on this menu again, and I'm going on delete anchor point. You'll see that now on the pen tool, there's a minus sign, right? When I click on that anchor point, it's going to be deleted. That's it. And the shape changed because now there's no anchor point holding it in place, so to speak. All right? So if I'm going to remove these anchor points, you'll notice that obviously I'll start losing the shape because there's nothing holding it in place. All right? So let's say I changed my mind about some things and I actually want to convert it, okay? To convert the anchor point. So let's say we have this. From the menu, there is anchor point tool, okay? That's that angle. We already used it in the previous exercise, all right? And that's going to do this, all right? Basically, it's converted it into something else. For example, like this, I'm going to end up with a straight line. Basically, what this is doing is removing those handles, all right? This should be it. I mean, there aren't, many things that I can explain on the pen tool. It's mostly practice, okay, until you get used to it. At first, it might feel a bit awkward, but you'll get used to it by time. I don't know. Also, notice that, for example, let's do with another thing. Let's click with the direct selection tool always. I'm going to click on the anchor point here. Like this, I can change the direction of where this is going. All right, keep in mind that when you're tracing, for example, and things like that, it might not be perfect from the beginning, which is okay. And then you'll fix it later, okay? You just go with the direct selection tool and adjust the angles which you might require, all right? This is normal. Try to avoid, breaking the path and, doing it in the middle because it might get more complicated. If you do it and fix it afterwards, usually it's a bit easier, all right? Please note that you can also delete this, okay, by, for example, dragging it into the anchor point, okay? Like that, I lost that handle because I dragged it onto the anchor point, just like we were doing here, okay? What I mean is you can also do it afterwards, right? So for example, if I delete these anchor points, I'm going to end up with a similar structure as the bottom one, all right? So try it out, all right? Play around with the pen tool, get comfortable with how it functions, and then also try the exercise that I uploaded on Moodle for you. All right, it's very simple. Basically, you would need to follow the shapes in order to create them with the pen tool. All right, let me know if you have any questions.